Hey gang, thanks for tuning in today to KP's Blackbox. Today we have our all-time record-holding guest, Luke Meacham, meaning he's been on the podcast more than anybody. But Luke is a very close friend of mine, and as you know, prior Seal, who went to try to play football in the NFL, we've tracked that journey with him to where he went all the way over to Brunswick, Germany, and played with a pro league there. Now he's in Montrose, Colorado. So let's catch up with Luke and find out what's going on in his life and where his journey has taken him since the U.S. Navy. You don't want to miss this episode. It'll be a fun one.
180 and we're at the speed down to 2,500.
Point for heavy, reduce speed to 180.
Black box.
Hello, gang. Welcome back again, KP's Black Box. Today, we've got a regular guest who's joining us on the podcast. I think you set the record, Luke, for the most times on the podcast.
What is this, three or four now?
Three now?
Yeah,
I think it's three.
I think it's three now, yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you who do not know this young gent, this is my redheaded stepchild, literally. No, kidding. This is a good buddy of mine. Luke, Saucy Paws, Meacham. We're going to talk about, those of you that don't know how he came up with the name Saucy Paws. We'll talk about that in the podcast today. But, dude, great to see you. And, man, what a background you have there. You're calling in on Zoom from Montrose, Colorado.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's first time out of the studio. Out here in my backyard. Beautiful blue sky day and some clouds out there. But yeah, the trees are changing and it's a beautiful time to be out here in Western Colorado.
So the last time we talked with our audience, Luke, you were in the other side of the atmosphere and very similar weather, I guess, in some ways in the mountains of Germany, right? You were in Braunschweig?
Braunschweig, yeah, not too many mountains. That you'd have to go further south there, but nice beautiful weather. But I would definitely say the lack of humidity out here is the biggest difference coming from definitely Braunschweig, Germany, and then coming from Virginia Beach. So yeah. the lack of humidity and that dry heat, as everybody talks about. So beautiful 80-degree day here. Right now in October, so wow. can't complain.
Any snow on any of the mountaintops yet?
Yeah, so we've got a good view to the San Juans to the south, and the nights are dropping down to about 40 degrees, but up nice. There, I mean, it's nice and cold, and you can see the snow starting to accumulate a little bit on some days. So yeah, we're getting there. They say it's going to be a big winter for snow. So last winter was not a big winter for snow. So we'll see. That's what the ranchers are saying. So looking forward to that.
The old term, paybacks are hell. So
yeah.
Well, man, it's great to catch up with you. Kathleen and I are excited to come out and see you and Haley and little man Barrett 50 cal.
Barrett 50 cal. Yep. 7 weeks old today. So
yeah, congratulations. That's so cool.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been amazing. Haley's amazing. Barrett's amazing. So the whole process of, becoming a father is something I've looked forward to for a very long time, and couldn't be happier with what we got going on. So looking forward to having you guys out here.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool. We're excited to come out, and that time of year is really beautiful in Colorado. So I'm excited to come share the moments with you and maybe do a little fat boy hiking, which is, take us in a car and on a drive.
Yeah, step out and see some views and step back in.
That's super nice. Let's get back in the car now.
Yeah.
I'm winded and I'm cold. So.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, no, there's plenty, like I said before, plenty to see out here. It's a beautiful change of scenery, and we're both very happy to, start this next chapter in our life out here.
Yeah, that's excellent. So we're going to talk about that today. Guys, those of you that have watched the show in the past, it's going to be a little bit of a rerun the first few minutes here, just introducing Luke.
Luke was U.S. Navy. He was not part of the men's department, the Marine Corps, which, by the way, Luke, we're coming up on our 250th anniversary, November 10th.
Congratulations.
So I'll send you some frozen cake, and you can sing happy birthday to me.
You got it.
I look really good for 250 years old, right? So, but yeah, so Marine Corps birthday is coming up. Luke was a sailor. He was with Navy Special Warfare, Navy SEAL. You were at Group 2, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So out at Little Creek, and Luke spent some time with the teams, high performer there, but he had a burning desire to do something that he was really good at in high school and college, and that was a football player. And Luke left the Navy after 6 years and decided to go back and try one more time at professional football. And the beauty of this and what we talk about in our podcast, Luke, and you're aware of, is entrepreneurship, and specifically guys who were veterans or even active duty, who leave active duty, become a veteran so that they can chase a dream that they have in being an entrepreneur. And you not only wanted to be an entrepreneur, but wanted to be an athlete. And so to be an entrepreneur and then a professional athlete on top of that is, I would say that rivals what you did in the teams in terms of the tenacity, the grit, and what it takes to become a professional athlete, especially in a world where you played Division III football, correct?
Correct.
For one of the most successful D3 teams in the country, which is Mount Union.
Correct. Yep.
The Raiders, Purple Raiders, right?
Purple Raiders.
Yeah, so shout out to the Purple Raiders. Luke, by the way, took me to a national championship game, played at the Naval Academy, and I guess I brought him some Marine bad luck or something. I don't know. They unfortunately lost that game, which is not in the pedigree of Purple Raiders, right? Usually you guys are used to winning.
Correct.
Pretty much all the time.
That's the standard. So,
Yeah.
Getting to the national championship is one thing, but our expectation is always to win it.
Yeah. Well, they didn't have you this particular year, so.
Yeah. I don't think that was the problem. I mean, they faced a good team, and Mount Union's always produced really good teams. So, just how the cards fall sometimes.
That's right. But that kind of leads into where your name came from, where your nickname came from, Saucy Paws. We're going to show a clip today just to remind everyone of the prowess of Luke before the SEAL teams and his performance on the football field and his ability to catch some hard passes. So, guys, can we run that SportsCenter clip? Luke made the top 10 SportsCenter. What year was this, Luke?
This was 2015.
2015.
Yeah.
All right, so here's Luke at the wide out in the end zone, one-handed snag.
Yeah, so this, KB, Kevin Burke was my quarterback here. This was for the U.S. national team in 2015. KB was my quarterback at Mount Union as well. So we had a duo on offense for Mount Union representing the U.S. team. And, we were playing Mexico. That was our first game in the tournament. And, they gave me the shout-out comparison to OBJ.
That's wild, isn't it?
And, I do not feel worthy of that comparison, but nonetheless, a pretty cool moment and pretty special. But the broadcast, not the SportsCenter broadcast, but the broadcast for the game, they called me Saucy Paws, and that's where Saucy Paws was born. So, good old late night SportsCenter.
Yeah. Now, what was that little thing, you guys? That little hand gesture. What was that?
So that was like the Johnny Manziel thing when he was at in college at A&M.
Yeah.
And he did like the Money Manziel, and so I don't know. We just did that. Something we did in college a couple of times, but it was a special connection there with KB, and it was awesome to be able to represent and be able to play, basically a
national
home
team.
game for us, because we played at the Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton, Ohio, which was
How
right
cool is
down the
that?
road
Yeah.
from Alliance, Ohio, where I went to school and we went to school. So yeah, really, really cool. Played with some incredible guys and incredible coaches, and a cool experience being a couple of D3 guys. Our kicker was also on the team. So very cool to have that experience and, play 4 football games in the span of a week, full on football games, which I've
That's
never done
insane.
before. So yeah, the recovery and, being able to keep your body healthy within the span of 7 days, playing 4 full on hard games.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of a kind experience there, but nonetheless, we ended up winning the gold medal against Japan. And, yeah, that propelled me into then my Navy career, and then, yeah, lit the fuse to get back in it after.
So we're going to jump into that, Luke, with conversation about your Navy career and where that's led to today, and where you are as a man today, from a father to a business owner to husband, and how what you did in that time with the Navy and with the teams shaped you into who you are today. Before we do that, one of the things, as you're well aware of, is on our podcast we always want to do a toast and just a admiration of what I have in being a Marine, for my fellow vets and those who are still serving. Is I'm always awestruck by folks who are willing to make the ultimate sacrifice, and not only the veteran themselves, but also their families, because it's super, super taxing on their families. I can remember talking to a Vietnam veteran who was a Navy pilot, and we interviewed him about 5 or 6 years ago. He landed on the USS Forrestal, which those of you who've been in the Navy know the Forrestal story, and it catching fire from a couple of planes running into each other and active missiles all over the deck. And it reset the standard for how the Navy would fight fires on ships, from this one horrible, horrible accident. But what I found interesting in that, Luke, is that my Bob Sandlin is his name. Bob and his wife, it took them about 3 weeks for her to figure out whether her husband was alive or dead. And she's seeing the national news. She's actually brought in the Life magazine article that she's kept to this day, and she picked it up in a grocery store and sees her husband's aircraft carrier on fire and on the front of Life magazine. And at the time, 5 kids, running through the grocery store without any knowledge of whether her husband was alive or not. But knowing pilots had died, knowing crewmen had died. And just, I couldn't imagine having to deal with that anxiety for 3+ weeks until they could call in and say, literally hear his voice, and have that conversation. So, today, warriors today are so fortunate that I've had buddies literally go into action and come home from a mission and call their wives, "Hey, honey, what's for dinner tonight? What are the kids doing?" And I don't know which way's better, not
Right.
knowing or being able to turn it on and turn it off, to where you're having to take another person's life and then have a normal conversation with your spouse, is just mind-boggling to me. But nonetheless, I want to raise a glass. Luke is having moonshine,
Moonshine.
Colorado
Well,
high mountain
on the
moonshine.
rocks, but it all melted.
And
Oh,
Luke will drink that whole ball glass of moonshine today, probably before the podcast is over, and
Probably.
it will not affect him. It's so weird. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, you got to be able to adapt and overcome, and a lot of training has gone into this.
Yeah, you've punished the liver so much it's immune now, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
No, this is just water.
So yeah, there we
Oh.
go. You let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, had to.
Luke rarely ever has any alcohol, which is mad respect for that too, man. So good for you. But here's a
Appreciate
toast
it.
to all of our veterans, all of our active duty, Gold Star families, those who are still downrange. We thank you. We appreciate you. We salute you.
Cheers.
And I have to give a shout out to our buddy, fellow sailor, Harold Underdown, and Four Branches Bourbon. Luke, you got to meet Harold at one of our
I did.
events this past summer. And Harold came on the podcast, did a taste test with us, but he did a blind taste test, and Jacob brought out 4 whiskeys. And I'm going to say whiskeys because one of them was actually a Scotch, and then there were 3 bourbons. Harold immediately smelled the Scotch and knew exactly that we were playing a trick on him. He was like, guys, come on. So we set that aside, but then he named the other 3 bourbons and got 4 branches correct.
Nice.
And
Nice.
we didn't set this up. We did it as a surprise. And what I told him is that if he picked it out on air, we're not going to cut it. We're not going to edit it. He picked it out, and I said, okay, if you do that, we'll drink 4 branches for every podcast for the next year. And then what we do is we have, and I think you've already signed this, haven't you? Have you signed this?
I don't know if I signed that. I know I signed the bottle at your event over the summer. I
Okay.
don't know if I.
I'll bring this with me
Okay.
since you're on the podcast. I'll
Yep.
bring this with me when I come visit in November
Cool.
and have you sign it because every person that's on the podcast who's a veteran signs it.
Awesome.
So we'll make sure you sign it. And then we're going to, at our next summer event, we're going to auction that off and give it away to whoever wants to support whatever charity we do this for this coming year.
Awesome.
But yeah, so Harold got it right, and so now we're drinking 4 branches until
Nice.
May of 2026. We'll be toasting 4 branches, and actually he owes us a bottle. We're bone dry here, so Harold, get on it. All right, so take us back to Luke Meacham, the sailor. What led you to want to be not only in the U.S. Navy, but what was the mindset of becoming a Navy SEAL?
Yeah, so I mean, it really started with my first head coach in high school for football. He was a former SEAL, and I've played team sports my entire life, starting out in soccer. Played majority of soccer growing up, baseball, basketball, you name it. But got into football in high school. The leagues around me weren't very good until like the junior leagues or the small town leagues weren't very good. So started out in high school and Coach Garber, just the tenacity and what he instilled in his players from the get-go, just resonated deep within me. And I just really attached to, that mindset of what he coached, and really enjoyed playing the game of football. And, it's to me, it's the ultimate team sport. And it's very similar to, in the sense of, offense and defense, and you've got plays and deception and things like that. The ultimate team sport. And throughout my high school career and then getting into college, just fell in love with the game more and more, and had some really incredible coaches throughout my career. And thought about going into the military coming out of high school, had the opportunity to play really good Division III football, so chased that. And coming out of college, I chased the NFL for a little bit, but ultimately, that didn't work out, and I just flipped my mindset right then and there, because I'm very goal driven. So NFL didn't work out. Okay, what's my next thing? And always in the back of my head, it was going to be the military. And for me, if I'm going to go and do something, I want it to be the hardest thing out there. And everything I heard from my coach, and what you'd see, and just hearing about buds and all that stuff, the SEAL teams were the pinnacle in my opinion. And, it was either that or nothing. And so there was no other option for me once I was coming out of college. So went to the recruiter and started training, and, ultimately, yeah, got my my billet to go to boot camp and never looked back from there. So that's kind of what took me from, high school into college into basically my mindset going into the military and trying to chase, the pinnacle of military operations.
Where I'd like to dig in a little bit with this, Luke, and this is part of entrepreneurship, and just the mental tenacity that you had to drive towards a goal that you had for yourself, and then not let short-term failures get you off track for just being the best you that you could be. And so what I find interesting is a person who went to play football at a high level, and you had a goal to be an NFL football player. When that didn't happen, what was your psyche? What did it do to your mindset? What did it do to did you feel sorry for yourself? Did you have any of those moments where you're like, crap, I know I'm good enough to play, but, nobody wants to look at me or give me a chance. I mean, what went through your head?
Yeah, I mean, that whole process was difficult, but it was, I think, the best thing, to happen to me at that time. Because we can circle back to how that then affected how I chased my post-military football career. And those things that I learned and I failed at coming out of college, I knew if I was going to chase the football again, I wasn't going to make those same mistakes twice. So, I had really good opportunities to be able to, go to a pro day at the University of Toledo, which is my hometown, coming out of college. So that would have been, 2015. And, there were scouts from all 32 NFL teams there. And, I shit the bed, to be honest with you. And, at that time, little young, naive, didn't have money for a trainer and all this stuff. And I just, trained like I normally did. And if you watch the combine and everything like that, it's very, the drills are combine specific. So, I was never the fastest guy. I was never the, most athletic guy. I had a lot of heart and tenacity on the field, and I was very smart. That separated me. But, those pure numbers that those scouts are looking at, I just wasn't a blazer, and, I didn't train properly for that. So, those were hard lessons, you got to kind of take on the chin that I learned at the moment. And, I failed there, played for the US team, like we saw in the clip. And that was my last football endeavor. And as soon as I was done there, being able to represent my country, carry the flag out onto the field, that was, I got goosebumps right now. It's just like that, that is, being a part of something bigger than yourself, is what drove me to, go right into the military stuff. So, and then everything you learn about yourself, especially going through a selection, like buds and, SQT and things like that, it's the ultimate team game right there. And being, there's a reason they call us team guys. So that's the ultimate team, in my opinion. And like I said earlier, being a part of the team, I just love that dynamic of all of that. So, there was no other option for me other than going into, the SEAL teams and just the water, the air, all of that, all the things that, coincide within what makes a SEAL a SEAL. It was the ultimate test for me, and what you learn, and, you find out a lot about yourself and the mental toughness, and, the body can withstand a lot of things, but it just, kind of perfectly fell in line with where my trajectory in life of, the failure of the NFL into, going into the military, and then ultimately, making that decision to get out and pursue football at 30 years old, again, at the professional level. So,
was something I would like to highlight early in your career, Luke, that you're graciously kind of glazing over, but I want to, and if you want me to shut up about this, and you can tell me, I won't won't talk about it, but now I've laid it out there. Now we got to talk about it. But leaving football after playing for the national team, and then making a decision to go in to the teams and getting a Buds contract or a SEAL contract, you actually got handed a little setback. That the team said, "Hey, your vision's not great. You got to have this eye surgery," and your parents weren't in a position at the time to help do anything for you with that. Will you talk about what you did to overcome
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. So, I mean, going into MEPS and getting all your physicals done and, all the appointments. And yeah, ultimately, I didn't have the eyesight required for uncorrected. I didn't have the eyesight for special forces. Um, so to me, it was like, okay, how do I overcome this? It wasn't, oh, I can't do it. For me, it's okay. What's the next step? How do I overcome this hurdle?
Yeah.
And able to, if I got LASIK done or PRK or some of these other things, it would help. And again, I'm a broke college kid, just got done playing football. I'm trying to figure out what the hell I'm going to do. I didn't have the money for a LASIK surgery. And yeah, ultimately I started like a fundraiser, and people were very gracious. Again, investing in it didn't mean I was going to become, what I wanted to become. It was purely just gave me the opportunity to pursue it to the
Yeah.
next step.
So
Um,
strangers made an investment in you,
yeah,
which is the beautiful thing about the United States. When we did our event this summer, and we had a 501c3 Hold the Reins come out, and they're helping veterans who have gone through PTSD and using horse therapy to do that. We had a friend that you've been able to meet from England, and he was literally touched to tears that we raised money to be able to give that back to this not-for-profit to help veterans through some hard times. And he said, like in England, he goes, we don't have that in us to just give somebody a gift or give somebody money to help them through, a situation. He goes, one of the things I love about the U.S. is that you guys are one of the most giving nations in the world. And I would attest to that. I've seen that happen over and over again, where human beings just rally behind something they believe in, and something that they're not even sure what's going to happen or what you're going to do with the money. But what a cool story, Luke, to have Americans support another American for a dream that you have to go serve your country.
right.
And
Yeah.
you were audacious enough to say, hey, I want to go do this. Are there people that will support me? And that's the thing, being in the investment business is that investments is the acceptance of all risk.
Right.
Insurance is the transfer of risk. So people made it an investment in you, accepting that, hey, this dude may not make it.
Right.
But how many people out there? I don't know how many it took. It was like $4,000, right?
To be honest, I know it was a couple $1,000s. I don't know the specifics, but again, I mean, it was a good amount of money. And yeah, I had multiple people, pitch in, and people that I didn't know directly. And yeah, it was, even more motivation, because, I'm not doing it for just myself, and
Yeah.
that nobody that goes and does, serves the country, is doing it for themselves necessarily.
Right.
So it's just more motivation, to have people that don't necessarily know me, or but they believed in me and wanted to invest in me, and give me my opportunity to chase that dream. So it was, yeah, a beautiful thing, and one that I continue to try and share in everything that I do.
Yep. So the good story, the end of the story, and we won't bore you guys with Luke retelling it again, but you made it through Buds.
Yep.
You made it through SQT, and you became a SEAL. You ended up in Little Creek Amphibious Base in Virginia, and assigned to Group 2. We won't talk about all your high-speed missions and all that stuff. But the key factor here, folks, is that He went and did hard things. But what I have mad respect for, Luke, is that when we fast forward through 6 years with the teams, a lot of training, number of deployments, and then you coming to this hard, really hard transition. And I was there for it because where you and I met, I was in a veteran program called VHP, Virginia High Performance, and you were a strength and fitness coach, high performance coach for VHP during that time as you were transitioning out of the Navy. And you were my coach after the first guy almost killed me and, blew out my hamstring. And then you did it again too. I'm not bitter, though. I'm not bitter. But you left the Navy with the aspirations of doing what?
Yeah, chasing professional football again. So, crazy kind of dream, but all my dreams are kind of crazy, and that's why I like to chase them. So, yeah, wanted to, kind of at a crossroads. Do I re-enlist? Do I, chase this opportunity? I had buddies that were still playing, and opened up some opportunities overseas in Europe. And for me, I wanted to go to the pinnacle. I want to go to the best thing. So, had the NFL in my mind and in sights, and knew it was going to be an uphill climb the whole way, but also had some opportunities in other leagues and leagues overseas. So, always option A, B, and C. But
Yep.
option A, was chasing the NFL as, trying to be a rookie at 30 years old.
Well,
So-
here's what we're going to do. We're going to show a clip of the first time you touched a football game day in over 10 years, right?
So
Set this
if
up
we're
for us.
showing this, so this clip specifically, we can send the clip or try to find the other clip, but this clip specifically that we're gonna watch is maybe 4 or 5 games into my first season after 8 years of not playing. I was a punt returner as well as a wide receiver, and this clip specifically was like 3 or 4 games in a row where I took a punt return for a touchdown.
We're watching
So,
it right now.
Yeah. So this one was
So this one was like 4 or 5 games into the season. You
Correct.
almost broke this guy's ankle here.
Yeah, had a really good block, and we had they call it special teams for a reason. We had a real special team, and we practice that all the time, and it's all about taking advantage of the opportunity in the moment, and that was just my time in my moment. So
Yeah.
that season was 2023 season, which was my first time playing football since 2015. So my first touch ever in a game was a 75-yard punt return touchdown, which I completely blacked out on. So
Do we
it's
do we
pretty
have that
awesome.
one? Is that on your Instagram page?
That one is also on my Instagram. It would be further down.
Yeah, guys, see if you can find that. That's the one I was
So,
talking about, and I
yeah.
thought we had teed up.
Yeah.
But Luke hadn't touched a football in 10 years in a game.
Yeah. Yep.
And the first
So-
touch you get was a punt return.
Yeah. Real special moment. And, just that moment was, my confirmation that, I'm in the right place doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun.
I think this is it here. I don't know if you can see it from your end, Luke, but you catch the ball. It looked like on the 30, and you ran it to the house first.
Yeah. Coming down, I can't see it, but coming down the right side, the right sideline,
Yep.
maybe.
Yep. That's exactly it.
Yep.
Yeah. Actually,
So-
no, you were on like the 8-yard line. Looking at that again.
One of those was a punt return, and this might be a couple. One of those was a punt return, and one of those was a kick return.
Okay.
And Luke just still can't hear me, by the way.
Yeah, Jacob was saying in my ears that one was a punt return, one was a kick return,
Okay.
and you ran them both back to the house.
Yeah, that one was in the same game, so that was pretty special too.
Wow.
So yeah, and shout out to Braunschweig I played for the New Yorker Lions in the German Football League one of the most successful European teams ever. So had a great opportunity to go and play, and love the town, love the fans, love the organization. So still keep in touch with some people out there, and yeah, it was a great opportunity, and they treated me like family from day one. So real
You-
special.
So
2
you
years.
did make it to the pros. You made it to the pros in Europe.
Yep.
And the idea was for that to be a stepping stone to the NFL, XFL, USFL, or what not USFL, whatever the leagues are. And whoever would say in America that they wanted to have an opportunity. And so this is where I want to pick up now, Luke, is that you had a couple of those opportunities. They passed you by. So as an entrepreneur who's setting a goal for something, and those goals don't come to fruition the way you've laid it out in your mind's eye, how do you deal with that? How do you do you treat that as failure? What do you define it as?
No, I mean, I think everything's a learning opportunity, and everything that I've done, everything that I've gone through, everything that didn't necessarily make it to, I'm not going to call it a failure, because everything's provided a stepping stone to the next thing. So I've been able to learn something each step of the way. I've been able to meet people that have then ultimately catapulted me into the next thing. So I just try to keep my sights set forward and move and learn something from everything, whether it's a missed opportunity or maybe not getting the right opportunity, but just like learning from MEPS that I didn't have the eyesight to be an operator or be in the military, special forces. Okay, what's option B? What's my contingency plan here? So yeah, I mean, moving out here to Western Colorado, and doing all the things that I'm doing now, I'm very grateful for where I'm at, and I couldn't be here if things went left instead of right. So
Yeah. What took you to Colorado?
So honestly, my wife and I, we were kind of in a place. We had just found out that we were pregnant, and so ultimately we're living in Virginia Beach and wanted kind of a change of scenery. And both of our works kind of were in a place that we had the opportunity to go somewhere wherever
Yeah.
we wanted to. We've got family out here. She's got her mom and stepdad, and I've got an aunt and uncle out here. I love Colorado. Beautiful out here. And, she was maybe 5 months pregnant, 6 months pregnant. And we're like, if we're going to do this, we got to do it now.
Yeah.
And so, it was a scary move, moving, 20, 30 hours away and on a drive across the country and packing up our cars in a little U-Haul trailer. And, I had goals and dreams of one job out here that ultimately, again, failed. And yeah, scary transition, but the best transition I think we could have done at the time. So being close to a little bit of family, having the baby was real important, for both Haley and I. And so yeah, we just kind of sent it, to be honest with you. And yeah, we're very happy that we have.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what you ended up doing, you got a ball cap you're wearing today, is you started a high performance company working with individuals, athletes, first responders, basically anybody who wants to work with a athletic trainer. You've developed your business. Haley is a professional masseuse. I hear you went ahead and got certified so that you could give me a massage when I get out there.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
The buttocks needs work, Luke. Maybe the hamstrings. So.
There you go. Yeah, let's focus on the hamstrings. Yeah.
Are you doing Brazilian butt wax too? So
I'll do whatever you need, Kenny.
Okay,
just keep it between you and me.
You're a great friend, man. Great friend. What's the old Navy saying? It's not gay when you're underway. Is that
that's what they say, but we don't say that. That's what the Marines say.
As they're eating crayons.
Yeah.
So you started this high performance business. and working sometimes with professional athletes, other times first responders, and then everybody in between. That's one of the things you got certified in before you left the Navy, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So I have a background. I have my bachelor's in exercise science, and I'm a CSCS certified, so certified strength and conditioning specialist. So I've got my certification there, and moved out here to Colorado, and I'm finishing up my massage therapy license and certification. So my wife is an LMT, a licensed massage therapist as well. And so kind of the formula that we saw in Virginia Beach with, all of these different modalities, being able to help operators, veterans, things like that. The holistic approach of strength and conditioning, massage therapy, chiropractic, nutrition, all of it working in one. Because again, you've got to have all of the pieces. You can't be, real dependent on the strength and conditioning side and have shit nutrition. You can't, beat yourself up in the gym and then neglect soft tissue work and all that other stuff. So, trying to be a well-rounded practitioner is the drive to, get my LMT on top of my strength and conditioning certifications. And I've had some really incredible mentors and guys and gals that I've worked under and besides to to see and ultimately myself to feel coming off of an ankle injury and ankle surgery, and to have this more functional approach and holistic approach to the training versus the old school method of just bench squat deadlift all the time until you're broken.
Right.
So just bringing some of the science and the data and all that stuff behind it, and ultimately it's all about how you feel and what the results are on an individual level. So that's bringing that out here with Haley and I to Western Colorado, and just trying to develop a team and create a team around us where I know my scope of practice and she knows her scope of practice, and being able to bounce things off of each other, where I've got a client in the gym and then she can work on them on the table, and then for me getting my LMT and kind of getting into what we're calling now is like performance therapy, where it's not physical therapy and it's not performance training. It's kind of an integration of both things to create the most robust athlete, most robust human, and then creating an individual and focusing on the athlete themselves, because each individual is going to be different, and creating that athlete, that individual factor, keeping that not just looking at numbers and looking at data, being able to to personalize it and keep it to where we're able to build relationships with people.
What's interesting to what you're saying is, I think of guys like Aaron Rodgers, who, at 40 some years old has had a massive injury to his Achilles, and to be back a year and some change later at the top of his game again, a few weeks ago throwing 4 touchdowns for Pittsburgh and then having another breakout game shortly thereafter. And to watch him move on the field with what would have been even 10 years ago a career-ending injury, he's playing at the top of his game in the 40s.
Yeah.
So would you attribute that to the type training guys are doing now, like you're teaching?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, I think the science and the data has definitely, caught up. There's people back in the day that were doing things that, we still do to this day. So in the field of strength and conditioning and things, we haven't really reinvented the wheel. We're using ideas from multiple different people. But now we're starting to see, you get more data and more results, and, it's a data-driven world that we're in. And, there's definitely better ways to go about some of the things that we've done over the course of the strength and conditioning, kind of gambit in life.
Yeah.
So, I don't think, I think there's a little bit more intention, and again, with the amount of money these guys are getting, and it's you can actually make a career out of it. So people are spending and investing more money into the training, into the recovery, and there's so many things on social media you see where this is the way, but there is no one way. There's a thousand ways to go about it, and each individual is going to respond a little differently, but depending on mentally how they're feeling, mentally how they're doing, physically what kind of body their makeup is, how they respond to different stimulus. So that's the cool thing about being a practitioner, and that's why I like the individual relationship that I can get, because each individual again is going to be different.
Yeah.
So my approach to one person's not going to work for for the other person, and we're trying to get to the same end goal. So
Well, I can
yeah.
attest to that just with my little superficial hamstring injury that I was joking you about, that when I went through and you were my strength and conditioning coach at VHP, I had a pretty nasty hamstring tear. And even at that point, I think I was 2 weeks into a 4-week program of 2-a-days, massage therapy, chiropractic, nutrition. And my nutrition before BHP, it sucked, right? I mean, Ben and Jerry's and pizza was my norm diet. And I have to admit, I'm kind of back on that train again. So you're going to have to slap me around or something. I don't know. But what I found to be true is that, I weighed in at the program at like 255, 256. 4 weeks later, dropped down to 229 pounds at the end of that program. And, through your training, through your coaching, motivation, and encouragement, I was eating better, training better, and, long story short, that happened to me. I pulled that hamstring again. You went to play football in Germany, left your boy hanging. But no, I got out of a habit. I got out of a routine.
Yep.
That's nobody's responsibility but mine. And then, put the weight back on again.
Yep.
But what's interesting about that is I saw that, if you train appropriately and you eat right, that even with a bad injury to your leg, you can still train around that.
Correct.
And I think of guys like most recently Tyreek Hill
Yep.
or Miami Dolphins. That was a nasty, nasty knee injury.
Yep.
And all of the exercise guys and fitness guys are saying he'll be back in a year. What do you think about that? If you were training that guy, and maybe you are, I don't know, but what?
No, I'm not down in Miami. No, again, it's crazy. Again, as you noticed in that 4-week program, you've got all of the modalities that are working together in tandem for one individual. And to really take advantage of the recovery process and everything else, you got to be able to have a team around you that is going to work on you, nonstop, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if these professional guys, especially, they've got the one resource that a lot of people don't, and that's the money, to be able to have a team around them that is going to monitor their nutrition, their exercises, their recovery, all this stuff. So it's not uncommon to see, again, guys having significant knee injuries or soft tissue injuries or whatever it is that they're doing, coming back so much faster, because especially if if you're, and most athletes, are hard workers, obviously. And, if you keep that attitude into your recovery and rehab, and attack each day, I mean, Kobe is obviously another one that, his resilient mindset, where he was going to work his ass off every single day, come back from his injury. But it's also that scale that can tip one way or another of the mental effect that goes into an injury, especially if somebody's never had an injury. And Tyreek Hill having that, being able, like, seeing the shock of seeing an injury like that on yourself and feeling that, it all depends. If having a good mental coach or being able to have somebody that you can talk to throughout this training, it plays a huge, and again, that's that human factor within these athletes.
Yeah.
That is very important as a practitioner to be able to, help navigate too. You can have the best athletes out there, but if their mind's not in it, or if, they're dealing with some stress and some strain, they're all humans at the end of the day still. They're not robots.
Right.
So being able to, getting back to what your question was, being able to have a team around you to be able to, keep you in the game. You yourself as the individual going through the rehab they have to be committed to, if that's what they want to come back from. So yeah, it won't be uncommon to see, in a year that he's up and moving and playing again.
Yep.
It just depends, one, how his body responds to surgery and recovery, and how well the team around him is going to, provide that rehab and recovery for him. So there's so many different things out there and so many modalities that, supplement each other, that is really important. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing and trying to build up my skill set to be able to be, an all-in-one type of practitioner.
That's awesome. So let's talk about Adapt for a minute. Guys, if you can bring
Yep.
up Luke's website, we'll give you a little shout out here. And if folks want to reach out to you, they can find you on Adapt Human Performance. I like this: adapt, overcome, perform. And you got some football player on the front page there. I'm not sure who that is. But
Yeah, I don't know either. He paid me a lot of money to put that up there, so
I love it. Hey, yeah, make sure you get those royalties. So Adapt, if they want to reach out to you, they can find you here at adapthumanperformance.com.
Correct.
You've got a contact page here where a person can reach out and in-person coaching. You also do some online programming as
Correct.
well?
Yep. Yeah. So I've got a handful of remote online clients as well. So all through an app based, be able to provide, and just long story short, go through an intake process and have open communication, and the app will provide the workouts and the goals and all the videos for the exercises and things. So yeah, open up the online remote programming as well as in person.
I'll just throw this out to you. If you ever need me, I do some fat body modeling. So
Perfect.
if you want to do like a before and after,
I'll
just-
get you have to be in the BP jorts though.
Oh yeah, I can do that. Shout out to Born Primitive. We can definitely. He'd have to find some extra big ones for me, but talked to Barry the other day. I told him we'd be chatting, so shout out from Barry.
Right on. Yes, sir.
So yeah, with by the way, we'll throw a shout out to Luke here. He was also a supermodel during his time at the teams, and side hustle. He was modeling for Born Primitive, and do you mind if we throw up a picture of your wife too here on your page?
I don't care. She might not love it, but it's okay.
Yeah.
She's
There was
open
one
to,
on the side of a cliff where she looks like she's about to throw you off, and she's this is before Barrett was born, and
this is the
you're looking out over a beautiful lake scene.
yeah, that's the Ridgeway Reservoir. So that's about a 20-minute drive from here. So we'll go check it out. Beautiful out there.
That's awesome.
So
what a great pick,
yeah.
man. I
Yeah, thank you.
love Colorado. It's a beautiful country.
Yeah.
If you've not been out that way, put it on your bucket list. Colorado's awesome. If you're
Definitely.
in Montrose, stop in and see Luke Meacham and Haley Meacham and little Barrett.
Little Barrett.
When you guys named Barrett, was there like in your mind, oh, wait a minute, all my buddies are going to call him like Barrett 50 cal or
So that was not the original name that we had, come up with. I don't know. I let Haley figure that out and come up with things, and I'd give, the typical guy answer, yes or no, and yeah, sure.
Not that it
But
matters anyway. So, but
right. But I did not come up with Barrett. She saw Barrett and she was like, "Oh, I love this name. What do you think of Barrett?" And of course, the first thing I'm thinking of is a Barrett 50 cal.
right,
Like, playing Call of Duty, being in the military, Barrett 50 cal, it's a well-known gun.
of course,
And of course, yeah, obviously coming from the military and the community, it's the first thing I thought of. Yeah, people are gonna be like, "Oh, of course you named your boy Barrett, and you came up with this." And it was not my idea, but I love the name, and he's definitely. I mean, he's 7 weeks old today, like I said, and he's a handful. So he's a big boy, and he's growing and moving. So looking forward, I think the name fits well. So
that's awesome.
yeah.
So cool. So tell us what the goals are for business, kind of moving forward. Who's your ideal prospect to client to work with?
Yeah, I think so. Where I'm at in life right now, obviously getting settled into the Western Slope here in Colorado, and still being in school and for massage therapy until February. The hours that I have dedicated for strength and conditioning and being able to have a bunch of clients, it's not as much as I want right now, just because I'm in school for 7 hours a day. And but so the clients that I do have right now, especially being out here, a lot of skiers, a lot of snowboarders, a lot of mountain bikers. And right now, my ideal client is kind of that branch between, I love working with athletes. I'd love to be in that realm as well. But a lot of my clients right now are either coming off of injuries, whether it's surgeries or soft tissue things where, they're out of the PT and they're trying to find their way back into the gym. Or, so more of that injury restoration
Yeah.
type, and then getting them back to, being able to go and ski and snowboard, especially coming up on the winter season out here. So right now, and those athletes that, or those clients um, that want to, hit the slopes hard and be resilient and not have to deal with bumps and bruises along the way. And, that's as well as myself, like not having, football to train for, the military to train for, me trying to find, okay, what's my goal here in the gym nowadays? It's, to create a robust, healthy system and create longevity for myself where I can go. And there's so much opportunity to hike and bike ride and all the things any season out here, to be able to just go and do and not have to deal with, my back hurts today, so I can't go and enjoy a beautiful hike. So a lot of people out here that I've, gotten accustomed to and have worked with, tend to be a little bit of the older population, but they still get after it every day. They're hiking every weekend. So those type of clients that, kind of trying to bridge the gap where they don't have, a good flow in the gym or don't understand what to do.
Yeah.
And to be able to build up their resiliency a little bit for all the things that they want to do on the weekends, or during the week. So that's mostly who I'm working with right now, and also working, volunteering at the local high school with the football team. So we'll see kind of what that leads into. And I love athletics. I love football, so want to be involved there. But where this chapter of life is right now with my schedule with being in school and things, I can't open it up too much to have, all the clients that I want to have. So right now it's really really about people that are kind of especially locally, that are trying to, get ready for the winter season or whatever that is, and just, create a robust engine to be able to get through the winter season, and just whoever's trying to better themselves and need some help there. So those are the clients that I'm working with right now.
Okay.
And then yeah, my online programming, I've got a plethora of people from one range to the other, that are looking for, getting ready for football season, that are in football season, or just standard clients, general population clients that want to change a pace and some different perspective. So yeah, it's pretty open right now as far as I don't have a specific, and I like that right now. So yeah, if you're interested, reach out and send me an email on my page, and yeah, I'd love to chit chat.
We'll make sure we put that in the podcast for you and give links
Awesome.
back to you. One other thing you're doing today before we jump is that you've got an extreme race you're doing with a buddy that you've helped develop the course, laid that out. Tell us a little bit about that and what you guys have coming up next summer.
Yeah, so June of 2026, we are planning the Ryan Larkin Invitational Adventure Race. So that's going to take place here in Montrose, starting in Montrose, going down to Telluride. So working with a guy named Rob Sweetman, and he was also a former SEAL. And he reached out onto one of our pages, the like SEAL community pages. Hey, I'm doing this thing in Montrose. If anybody's interested, I'd love to have you. And I'm like, well, shit, I'm in Montrose. I like to hike and things. So reached out to him, and yeah, so now we just did this in June of this year. It's a 62-mile adventure race over the course of 3 days. About 12,500 feet of ascent over the course of 3 days.
Wow.
So a lot of up and down. Just incredible scenery, but really it's to raise money for Ryan Larkin, who was a former SEAL that unfortunately took his own life a few years ago. But it's in his honor, and he was a former operator that Rob worked with and really loved. So yeah, raising money, and we're in the early stages of planning right now. It's going to be 10 teams of 4 individuals, so it's going to be a team event, again, like I said, over the course of 3 days. So yeah, stay tuned for more information there. So once we've done a little bit of a soft launch with some things, but we'll hard launch that very soon. And yeah, we'll be looking for sponsorships and donations. It'll be all run through a nonprofit, a 501(c)(3), and yeah, so we're looking forward to it, but it's going to be June 2026, and yeah, it's so stay tuned for that. I don't want to spill all the beans on that right now, but there'll be a lot of information coming out about that.
Awesome. Yeah, well, link me up with Rob. We'd be happy
Yep.
to
Absolutely.
share the story and the vision of what he has going on there, and see what takes place. Hey, anything
Absolutely.
interesting you're reading today? Any books or podcasts you're listening to, or stuff that you'd love to share with our audience?
Oh man, I haven't started it yet. But a book that let me pull up the name because it just got delivered today. Is a book that my father-in-law told me about. Let's see if I can pull this up real quick. With school and everything, my nose has been in my kinesiology book. But so it's called The Rise of Superman, and it's decoding the science of ultimate human performance. So that's on my to read, and that the author of that is Stephen Kotler, Kotler. So that's going to be in my next read.
The Rise of Superman.
Yep, and it's decoding the science of ultimate human performance. So yeah, that one was recommended to me from my father-in-law, who lives out here in Montrose and was a former team guy as well.
Not only was he a former team guy, but before you hitched up with his daughter or stepdaughter, was he your CMC?
He was my CMC. Yep.
Oh boy,
my new guy CMC. So
you picked your timing right to date his stepdaughter.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a funny story and a cool connection, but yeah, good people all around. But yeah, that The Rise of Superman's on my my bookshelf ready to be opened up. So I just got that one today.
Very cool. All right, we'll put that out there. I'll check it out myself. And since I got a Superman tattoo, I won't
There you
take my
go.
shirt off and show you today. I'll do that at our massage
There you go.
class. So. Luke, it's great seeing you, man. It's always awesome to
Kenny.
have you on the show. And folks, reach out to Adapt and Luke Meacham. If you're in the Colorado, Montrose, Telluride, kind of Grand Junction region of Colorado, reach out to Luke. Super great human being. But you can also reach him online, and he's a great strength and performance coach. I can show you some real before and after pictures of working with Luke. And, I know Ben and Jerry's does a lot to the body, but when I was eating right and listening to my coach, he did great things to help me get fit again. So, Luke, always love you, man. Always respect what you got going on.
Love you too, Kenny. I appreciate it.
Great catching up with you. Tell Haley we said hello and we love her. And Barrett, give him a little fist bump. Take him shooting today.
You got it.
And we'll end it with that. Guys, we love you. Thank you for supporting the show, and we'll see you soon.
Blackbox.